Protista are a highly heterogeneous group with organisms having unicellular, colonial, filamentous and multicellular forms. They can be plant-like, that is autotrophic with chlorophyll, or animal-like, that is without chlorophyll and heterotrophic. They can also be slime molds. So accordingly, they are classified into 5 phyla that we just saw. But despite these variations in character, there are some common characters. They are all heterogeneous. They form a heterogeneous group. They are all single-celled eukaryotes. They are mostly aquatic. They may have flagella or cilia for locomotion. They are linked with the other kingdoms, that is plants, animals and fungi. Some may have characters of either of these kingdoms. They can reproduce asexually, but they can also reproduce sexually by a process involving cell fusion and zygote formation. Now, they are all eukaryotes, so they will have a well-defined nucleus. All membrane-bound cell organelles like mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi complex, etc. will be present in them. So let's start with the first group, that is chrysophytes. Chrysophytes are also known as diatoms, and they also include the golden algae or the desmids. They live in either freshwater or marine. They usually float passively in water currents. They are also known as planktons. Now, they are photosynthetic. Since they are photosynthetic, they are the main producers of the ocean. Now, there is one unique feature of chrysophytes. The cell wall forms two thin overlapping shells like a soap box. And like a soap box, these two parts fit together. And these walls are embedded with silica. So that makes these walls indestructible. Now, whenever these organisms die, the cell wall gets deposited in the substrate, making the soil gritty. So this gritty soil is used in polishing, filtration of oils and in syrups. The next group is dinoflagellates. These can be yellow, green, brown, blue or red depending on which main pigment is present, which colored pigment is primarily present. They are mostly marine and chlorophyll is always present. It may be masked by the other colored pigment, but it is always present. So these organisms are photosynthetic. The cell wall of these organisms has stiff cellulose plates on the outer surface, and it has two flagella. One lies longitudinally and the other is transversely. You can see the cellulose plates in the diagram. Now, the most important thing is they are forming a red tides. Red dinoflagellates known as goniolacs. They undergo rapid multiplication and the sea water becomes red because of these organisms. They also release toxins, and because of their large number, the toxins are produced in very high concentrations and they may even kill other marine animals such as fishes. The next group are the euglenoids. Euglena are green and photosynthetic. They have chlorophyll-like pigments. They are freshwater, usually found in stagnant water. They lack a cell wall. Instead of cell wall, their cell membrane is covered by another membrane known as pellicle, which is rich in proteins. Besides this, at the tip coming from the same point are two flagella. They are unequal. Now we just said that they have chlorophyll and they are photosynthetic, but for photosynthesis light is required. In case light is not available, then these euglenoids turn heterotrophs. They become predators and they feed on other organisms. So, Euglena is considered to be a connecting link between plants and animals. It is photosynthetic but lacks a cell wall, and in absence of light, it behaves as a heterotroph. The next group is slime molds. Now, slime molds are saprophytic, that is, they feed on dead and decaying organisms. In favorable condition, they form aggregates or groups are formed, and these groups are known as plasmodium. Unfavorable condition, they form spores, and these spores are enclosed in fruiting bodies. These fruiting bodies are highly resistant to adverse conditions, and these can survive many years till the time favorable conditions are available. So spores are dispersed, and whenever there are favorable conditions, they germinate to form the slime molds or the plasmodium form of slime molds. These are how the plasmodium look. This is how you may have seen them often on tree trunks or on the soil. And these are the fruiting bodies. They are found in different colors, very beautiful, purple, pink, yellow, different colors of fruiting bodies are found. The last group of protista that we have to do is protozoans. Protozoans are all heterotrophs. They are either predators or parasites. Now you can see from the above two characters, they are animal-like. One more character that makes them animal-like is they do not have a cell wall, none of them. So these are heterotrophs, lack chlorophyll and do not have a cell wall. Now they are classified into 4 groups based on which type of locomotion they show. So they can be amoeboid protozoan, flagellated protozoan, ciliated protozoans and sporozoans. Sporozoans are parasitic and generally do not show any kind of motion. We start with the amoeboid protozoans. As you can make out from the name, these are amoeba-like. So amoeba belongs to this group. These are free-living, aquatic, and the movement is by the false feet or pseudopodia. The marine forms of amoeboid protozoans have silica shells on their surface, making the surface of these organisms hard. Let's see the examples. These are amoeba, the freshwater protozoans. This is how they move with the help of their pseudopodia. Then Radiolaria, which is a marine form. You can see the silica shells on the surface. And then we have the parasitic form, that is entamoeba. You've heard about this. This causes Entamoeba histolytica causes intestinal diseases. Gingivalis causes diseases of mouth. The next group is the flagellated protozoans. Flagella for locomotion is present here. Now the common examples are the bodonids, which are the free living ones, and Trypanosoma. You are well aware of this organism. This is parasitic. Another organism which is parasitic in this group is Leishmania. The next group is the ciliated protozoan. These are also aquatic and they have cilia for locomotion. Now, unlike flagella, cilia is present on the entire surface and the number is very high. All these cilia move in coordination. Here you can see a cavity or gullet is present here. This cavity opens outside. The coordinated movement of cilia causes the food to move into the gullet. Now the last one are the sporozoans. They are characterized by an infectious spore-like stage, and that is why the terminology is sporozoans. The most notorious example of this group is the malarial parasite or the Plasmodium. Most of the organisms of this group are parasitic. Now you can see 4 species of Plasmodium here: P. vivax, ovale, malariae and falciparum. With this, we come to the end of this session. Here are your questions. To assess your understanding, try solving them, and only when you have understood the content of the video. Happy learning. Thank you. Bye-bye.